it's autumn, but it's not a terribly typical autumn day. It's rather muggy and drizzly. So we've come inside because there's a sense of urgency that we need to get on and plant bulbs now if we're going to have a great display of bulbs in the garden in spring. And this morning I want to look at growing these bulbs in containers, and I want to show you how you can really maximise the amount of colour you get from a pot. You can plant in layers, and here I have a cutaway pot demonstrating just that. Starting at the bottom we have a layer of tulips, and then immediately above them daffodils, tall daffodils, and then above that dwarf short growing daffodils, and then on top of them we've got crocus. That is how you can get really a huge range of colour and maximise the time of flowering. These won't all come in flower at once, you'll get a succession. So, how do we set about that? Well, I've got a similar sized pot here, a nice British made Yorkshire flower pot. Great flower pots, really well made, very, very frost proof. There's a good drainage hole in the bottom, you can see, that's very important. If there was no drainage hole, then we'd have to watch that we don't overwater them, and we'd have to use bulb fibre. Because there's a drainage hole, we can use ordinary multi-purpose compost. Now I'm going to put a broken pot over the top just to prevent that hole becoming blocked. Several, there we go. Just an old bit of broken pot. Then we need some potting compost, but just a little, because remember, we're going to put tulips really near to the bottom. So this is our own multi-purpose compost. It's our most popular compost, in fact, that we sell. It's called Cleve Nursery Multi-Purpose Compost. So a little bit of compost in the bottom. Then I'm going to put in some tulips. This is tulip Merlot. Lovely, rich colour, just like a good Merlot. So I'm placing those. Let's get them out of there. Them out. So I'm going to place those evenly in the bottom, taking care that they're not actually touching each other, but also that they're not touching the sides of the pot. So there we are, and they're really quite close to the bottom of the pot, just within a few inches. So that's the tulips in the bottom. Then we need some more compost on top, just a little bit, just to cover them up. Even that out. And then I've got some daffodils. These are daffodils from our friends down in Cornwall, the Hoskin family, Fentagolan daffodil growers, grow some fantastic daffodils, and they're going on top. The variety is called Golden Anniversary, always a good variety if you've got friends who are perhaps celebrating a golden anniversary. What a lovely present to perhaps give them 50 of those just to commemorate that occasion. So daffodils are in there, those are the tall ones. More compost. Spread it out. And then I'm going to put another short daffodil. This one's called Jetfire, and you can see there's an orange trumpet and yellow petals. Probably won't need all of these, there's quite a lot in here, but it's a nice short one, and they're going to sit right on top of the Golden Anniversary daffodil, the tall one. Remember, Jetfire is a short one. More compost again. And I'm going to put some muscari in. Now, muscari generally just blue, but this dark eyes is each tube of the flower ends with a lovely white, so you get a flare of white at the end. These are very short flowering, so the tallest bulbs go at the bottom and the shortest at the top, and we're nearly at the top now. Put those in like so. Then a little more compost on the top, and finally the last bulb to go in. This is crocus called Lady Killer, and we'll pop those in. They can almost sit right on the surface, but we're just going to cover them a little bit again so they're not near the outside and not touching. If they're touching, they tend to rot off. If they're near the outside, what happens if you get a cold period in the winter, the frost comes through the pot and burns the bulbs that are around the outside. And that's especially so if you used a plastic pot. And I'm avoiding using a plastic pot for that reason. Nice thick walled pot gives them greater insulation. If you used a plastic pot, you could of course put bubble polythene inside it as a sleeve just to give it extra frost protection. Okay, so we're nearly at the top there, a little bit more compost. And because we're not really going to see any colour at all from any of those bulbs until we get towards the end of January, perhaps even February, I'm going to put some violas, some little dainty flowered violas on top, which are going to give me some colour in the autumn, right now, and through the winter to the time when those first bulbs appear. Now, those bulbs will push up through and come up between the violas, so we don't need to remove the violas. The violas can stay there. Now, the last one to go in actually needs the dead flower heads taking off. Now, someone has nipped off the flower head of that one rather badly and just left an ugly stalk. When you deadhead plants, you nip them off right back there. So I'm going to do this next one. See a seed head on there, seed pod. If it's producing seed, it'll stop flowering. You need to stop it from producing seed, and then it'll go on flowering more and more for you. So just nip those off, get rid of those, leave all those that have yet to flower or have just opened. Get rid of those, one more, and we'll pop that in there. Right, give it a good firm down. And then, last thing we need to do, of course, is give it a good drink. It's knocking the flowers down, but they'll all stand up. There we are. There we go. That will give you that can go straight out on the patio now, on the doorstep or on your balcony, and will give you colour immediately, and then you've got that succession of bulbs that will come right through the spring from February, perhaps through to May if you're lucky. The tulips should be in flower in May. So long flowering period.